Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome to the news on Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. I'm Suesha Sawant. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Let's start the headlines with a Magic Bricks Now exclusive. Infrastructure heavyweights L&T is in the running to build Mumbai's first underground tunnel, the Goregaon-Mulund Link Road. Work to begin in just a few months from now.
Given the emphasis on rapid expansion of freight business, it is essential to build more dedicated freight corridors for the increased traffic with consequent benefits for the economy and environment.
Dedicated freight corridors, boost to suburban rail networks and Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train on the fast track. What is in it for you as a home buyer? Magic Bricks Now tells you. Big ticket projects in the pipeline for Mumbai. Railway Budget 2016 proposes 2 rail corridors for the maximum city. Infrastructure biggies like L&T are in the running to build Mumbai's first underground tunnel, the Goregaon-Mulund Link Road. Magic Bricks Now learns that work on this could begin by April this year. Disha Shah got us an exclusive report on this critical east-west connector in Mumbai.
Big infrastructure companies like L&T, J. Kumar and Company and Madani have bid to build Goregaon-Mulund Link Road, which is the first underground tunnel in the city, which will connect from Goregaon to Mulund West. This is what sources close to the development have confirmed to Magic Bricks Now. They also say that the tenders for the project for first phase has already been floated out of the 3 phases that was in last week of January this year, and the tenders for the first phase will be closed by March this year, after which the tenders will be floated out for second phase. It was just recently when BMC Commissioner Ajoy Mehta had fast-tracked the project and had set clear timelines and deadlines for the project, and he also mentioned that the tender process and the tender work for all the 3 phases should be completed by April this year. So hopefully we could see the work begin by April this year. Just to give you a quick background, the 6-kilometer tunnel, the cost of the project is 1,250 crore rupees, and they have also upped the cost to 300 crore rupees. This is also what sources close to the development have told us. They say that number one, it is the biggest benefiter for the commuters in the city, because the travelling time will be reduced from 1.5 hours to 25 minutes approximately once this tunnel is constructed. And secondly, it will also improve the east-west connectivity in the suburbs. So clearly and the deadline to complete the project is 3 years from now, which is 2019.
Now, Suresh Prabhu's second rail budget came laden with goodies for passengers, women and senior citizens. However, what matters here on Magic Bricks Now is the impact on real estate. And Minister Prabhu did not disappoint Realty Inc. In fact, paraphrasing what the minister himself said earlier in his speech, this rail budget could well become the engine of growth for the real estate sector. Let's listen in to the highlights from his speech.
We intend to undertake major programs to build an integrated suburban ecosystem for railways by launching a new investment framework. We would share equity contribution with the state governments and ensure cost neutrality on operations. We will come out with a detailed policy in this regard in the next 4 months. We intend to partner with the state governments of Gujarat, Telangana, Tamil Nadu for development of suburban sections in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Chennai, respectively, by deploying innovative financing mechanisms. Bengaluru, the technology hub of the country, warrants comprehensive suburban system. We will partner with the state government in this endeavor. Mumbai is the financial capital of India and needs a robust transport system. However, the suburban railway system in lifeline of the city is overstressed. In principle, approval of MUTP 3 has just been received from NITI Aayog to move forward. We are working towards achieving the financial closure and early award of tenders for 2 elevated suburban corridors between Churchgate and Virar and Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus to Panvel. The Panvel CSTM Panvel corridor will be integrated with metro lines being planned by the state government for connecting existing Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport and proposed Navi Mumbai International Airport. Given the emphasis on rapid expansion of freight business, it is essential to build more dedicated freight corridors for the increased traffic with consequent benefits for the economy and environment. It is proposed to take up the following freight corridors. North-south connecting Delhi to Chennai. East-west connecting Kharagpur to Mumbai. East coast connecting Kharagpur to Vijayawada. It is proposed to put these three projects on high priority to ensure structuring, award and implementation in a time-bound manner through innovative financing mechanism, including PPP.
My colleagues Deepa Rana, Aishwarya Paliwal and Amita Balachandra have details of all that was announced in the budget. First, let's look at Deepa's report on the connectivity boost that Delhi and other cities received.
A big boost coming into the transport in the railway budget, which was announced by the Railway Minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, today. Delhi's rail ring network is going to be revived. Currently, the rail ring network connects Hazrat Nizamuddin to Pragati Maidan, but now it's going to have 21 stations from 20 stations, and the minister said that he is going to work with the Delhi government to revive Delhi's rail ring network. Coming to cities like Ahmedabad, Chennai and Hyderabad, now these three cities are going to have suburban local railway network. Currently, Mumbai has one, Chennai also has one, but maybe the minister is trying to beef that up. Coming to IT city Bengaluru, now Bengaluru will also see a suburban local railway network. Coming to Kolkata, the Railway Ministry has cleared the east-west corridor of metro rail and planned to extend that to another 500 kilometers. All in all, it seems a big boost to transport, to connectivity, linkages, periphery, and also a big boost to affordable housing.
Meanwhile, Amchi Mumbai should be happy. We heard Suresh Prabhu announce 2 elevated corridors for Mumbai. Aishwarya Paliwal has that report.
Suresh Prabhu today brought cheer for thousands of Mumbaikars when he said that 2 important projects under MUTP, that is Mumbai Urban Transport Project Phase 3, have been given a clear nod by the centre in Railway Budget 2016-2017. Now, these 2 important projects are elevated railway corridors between Churchgate and Virar and between CST and Panvel. You know, this will not just make life easy for those who travel every day from these peripheral areas to south of Mumbai. It will also give a boost to affordable housing. As in the recent past, we have seen most of these projects come up in peripheral areas. Now, once this railway track would be complete, it will give a lot of incentive for developers to make more affordable housing, as now these areas will have very good connectivity to the rest of Mumbai.
Moving on to other big announcements, Suresh Prabhu also announced 3 dedicated freight corridors, North-South, East-West and East Coast corridor. Amita Balachandra has more details. So Amita, tell us exactly where these corridors are located.
That's right, Railways Minister Suresh Prabhu has mandated for 3 dedicated freight corridors. One north-south corridor that connects Delhi to Chennai. There's an east-west corridor that connects Kharagpur to Mumbai. There is also an east-south corridor that connects Kharagpur to Vijayawada. What's important to note is that the freight consignment today takes just about 2 to 3 days between Delhi and Mumbai. Now, that time limit is going to be massively reduced to just about 24 hours. What's also important to note here is that the average speed of trains will be increased to 70 kilometers per hour as opposed to 25 kilometers per hour today. Also, eastern and western rail corridors are in progress right now, and this project that's mandated will eventually link cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, which are at the corners of India's golden quadrilateral, and the deadline for this project is set at 2019.
That was Amita with details on the dedicated freight corridors. Moving on, Navi Mumbai has to be the single biggest gainer from the Suresh Prabhu's rail budget. Mumbai's satellite city is already the site of a host of infrastructure projects, and the Panvel CST elevated rail link could just prove to be the icing on the cake. Ruchi Deshpande, who tracks the Navi Mumbai market, joins us with details of the massive infrastructure boost currently underway in this market. Now, Ruchi, Navi Mumbai is the clear gainer there. Tell us, how is this market changing?
Well, Navi Mumbai commuters certainly have a lot to cheer about, especially after today's rail budget, where Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu announced a fast train elevated corridor from Panvel to CST. Now, the major purpose of this is to link South Bombay to the existing Navi Mumbai International Airport. The status as we speak right now is the fact that the techno-economic feasibility for this project has already been done, and the rest of the developments can now take place. Moving on, if this is one project that will make Navi Mumbai a hot destination for real estate developers, there is also a host of other infrastructure projects that will do the same. In the first place, we have Sidco's Smart City Nana, where 23 smart cities will be developed over the period of 15 years. And in the recent Make in India week that took place, the civic body saw MOUs worth 30,000 crore being signed for the development of Nana. Now moving on, we have the first major infrastructure project over here, that is the Navi Mumbai International Airport. Now this 34,000 crore airport also has a deadline of 2019, and as we speak the financial bids for the pre-development work of this project are already underway, and the main purpose of this was to decongest the existing Mumbai airport. Lastly, we have the 22-kilometer Mumbai Trans-Harbour link, and this 11,500 crore project also has a deadline of 2019. The tenders for this project will be issued next month, that is in March. So with a slew of these infrastructure projects, it looks like Navi Mumbai is all set to be the next hot destinations for real estate developers.
All right, that sure is turning Navi Mumbai into a realty hotspot. Moving on, earlier we caught up with Ashutosh Limai, National Director Research at JLL, and asked him about the impact of this move on Navi Mumbai's residential market, the demand that can be expected, and which pockets would benefit. Listen into what he had to say.
Great news for Navi Mumbai, because with these infrastructure initiatives, the capacity of ferrying people across various parts of the town from Navi Mumbai is going to get doubled up, if not more. Also, it means that it will open up more areas for development, particularly for housing. So it means that we have more capacity generated for people to travel, more capacity for people to buy and live in houses. That means that we are going to cater to the housing demand significantly by these infrastructure projects. Also, it means that during the infrastructure projects and the subsequent moving up of corporates and economic activities, it means employment creation, and employment eventually generates wealth. Wealth leads to consumption, and that means it's an entire cycle that is started of economy. Prices will be rationalized, and more push for housing in lower price bracket. We'll see a great demand and push because not only connectivity means more area opening up for offices, the transit-oriented development, which essentially is one major component of the railway budget that the railway minister has announced. Transit-oriented development will bring in a cheer, and that is something that the companies are always looking for. Both the railways benefit because its land and its air rights at the railway stations get optimally utilized, and it gives the best land use for the railway station premises, and at the same time people find it exceedingly convenient to go to offices and vice versa. The integration of transportation system, which the railway minister stressed, I think the main areas that are going to get benefited are the southern nodes of Navi Mumbai and the Naina precinct. So Panvel, Ulve, Kamote, the area around the new airport, and the entire Naina future city, which is also a smart city in the making. These are the areas which will get the maximum benefit.
India's commercial realty market has been booming, but Realty Inc. believes it could do better if the budget helped a little by rationalizing tax structures. Ruchi Deshpande gets us this report on how the budget could help boost commercial real estate.
Demand for commercial space in India's top cities is sky high. Recent reports put India's office space absorption in 2015 at around 36 million square feet as the second highest after 2011. But industry believes a simplified tax structure will help the commercial realty sector grow faster.
What the budget can do is give fiscal incentives, interest rates, reduce the cost of money, bring in long-term funds, will make a big difference to the budget. If the government relooks at the tax, it will encourage REIT structures to come in, and I think they'll make a big difference to the real estate industry.
In fact, simplifying the tax structure for REITs is the industry's single largest demand. Modeled on mutual funds, REITs or real estate investment trusts would give developers access to cheaper finance, while retail investors would get a safe route to make small SIP-like investments in real estate.
Two requirements which the budget can actually help to make this something good for the industry. One is to make REIT successful and for money to flow in the country is the dividend distribution tax, which is like a double taxation today. 14% service tax element, which is a part of over and above the rent which clients have to pay, is something again which is very high. If at all rental could be not treated as a service or could be given a status where the service tax can be lower, would be something which will help the commercial market to do far better than what it is doing today.
However, no REITs have been launched. The reason? Unfriendly tax procedures, an issue that Realty Incorporated hopes Budget 2016-17 will address.
What the budget can do is give fiscal incentives, interest rates, reduce the cost of money, bring in long-term funds, will make a big difference to the budget. If the government relooks at the tax, it will encourage REIT structures to come in, and I think they'll make a big difference to the real estate industry.
To make REIT successful and for money to flow in the country is the dividend distribution tax, which is like a double taxation today. If at all rental could be not treated as a service or could be given a status where the service tax can be lower, would be something which will help the commercial market to do far better than what it is doing today.
If REITs comes in, commercial realty will be the single largest gainer. It will free up capital that developers can then use to build more offices and homes and cater to newer demand arising in e-commerce, pharma and healthcare sector. In Mumbai, this is Ruchi Deshpande for Magic Bricks Now.
Now, keeping with the budget on Magic Bricks Now, like always, we focus on you, the home buyer. Our reporter Amita Balachandra went out and caught up with a few professionals and students and asked them about their budget expectations. Let's take a look.
Affordable housing is a big concern in the industry right now, especially in a city like Mumbai where homes are so far out of reach. So what expectations do you have from the budget?
So what I would say is that generally the sentiment has been a little negative on account of inflation, prices rising, and what we expect is a very specific incentive from the government, and that would one of those incentives would include increasing the tax exemptions for the homeowners. So the current limit is at 3.5 lakhs. It would be good. The expectation is for it to go to about 500,000 because unless there are very specific steps that the government takes to signal that they are incentivizing, we know that there's a large pool of stock that builders are sitting on.
All right, talking about taxes, you just mentioned that the government needs to increase it to about 5 lakh rupees, which is currently at 3.5 lakh rupees right now. But there are several other concerns when it comes to taxes because taxes work differently for under construction properties, completed properties. So what other incentives do you think the government needs to focus on?
See, one of the major incentives that we have been talking about is that as a home buyer or even from an industry point of view, the consumer insight has been that why should I pay the taxes when I have not got the possession? So technically the taxes should be applicable at a later point of stage. So that is something which you need to see. At the other point of time, the amount of taxes that I am really paying with my hard-earned money, is that being validated by the kind of projects or by the kind of quality that has been coming in? Construction delays, it has been grappling the industry for a long time now. as a basic citizen, my question is, why isn't the bill being addressed? Why aren't those real estate players being addressed? If I look at from the market point of view, with the kind of bad loans that has been coming up, we see that real estate is probably one of the segments wherein a lot of builders are itself involved in those kind of accounts.
Right. So she mentioned the real estate regulator bill, which is still stuck in the parliament right now. So do you think at some level that is going to help a lot of issues that we're facing right now?
Definitely yes, that is going to help. But then since we are youngsters, we're going to get placed, we'll be getting jobs. Now getting into the market to buy a house, we are youngsters. So even if we have to pay EMIs, we don't get tax benefits at present. Like after the possession, after 3 years, we get benefits. So like today we have to pay our own rent and also we have to pay the EMIs. So the government should do something for us. There should be some norms so that it eases us to make all the expenses come.
Are you really giving me a candy and trying to deviate my attention from the main issues? The main issues today is not that we should celebrate that 20 of the cities have got into the smart city list. Is the government trying to tell me that instead of me trying to make your city smart, I'm actually going to move you to a smart city? The biggest example probably is Delhi. I mean, after an agitation, a water supply gets cut off, and that's the national capital. We have not even been able to come to a conjecture where we can say that what is going to be the pollution control measures, whether an odd and even rule or a better rule. So these, like as a citizen probably, I would say that please Mr. Finance Minister, don't stop giving me deviations. Give me implementation of the policies.
What citizens actually want is something to happen on the REITs front, something to happen on the tax benefits. Also there's the real estate regulator bill that is still stuck in the parliament right now. These are the things that citizens clearly want addressed. Amita Balachandra for Magic Bricks Now.
Also, my colleague Aishwarya Paliwal caught up with a few home buyers in the Maximum City as well. Let's listen in to their expectations.
The government should have a regulator to check the prices in metropolitan cities. Now the prices have skyrocketed in each part of the metropolitan city. They should have some regulator to check the prices so that the lower middle class or the middle class can afford the house here nearby their work location.
I'm a lower middle class person, so there should be some rules from bank. If I have the low income, so they will not provide me the loan. If I want to buy a home at town side, okay, so there should be some regulation from the government.
Every man has a dream of buying a house in Mumbai. So if you're already in Mumbai for past 15 years, some kind of subsidy on the interest rate would be nice.
Moving on to the world of interiors. When it comes to designing the interiors of a home, minimalism and subtlety go a long way in lending a feel-good factor to the home. Which is why in this week's episode of the Interiors Show, designers Smita Khanna and Hemant Purohit of Note D spruce up a client's home using minimalistic designs. Let's take a look.
Smita, we already talked about the house being very vintage. Now, what catches my attention first is the roof above.
So there was a false ceiling running through the entire house. It was a 100-year-old false ceiling. We cut this 2 foot by 2 foot hole in the ceiling to check if everything was fine there. And it seemed okay. And then when we removed it, it was even more fantastic than we had imagined. So what we did is we blocked that side off and we put lighting inside it. So at night when Siddhant's entertaining people, we just like
have those lights on.
Yeah, and just the roof lights up and the rest of the lighting is quite ambient and light. So if you see the lights on the walls, those are the lights we sourced from our vendors in Chor Bazaar. So they're all originally shipped lights, which we retrofitted into the house.
Well, also tell me about the chairs. They look pretty old.
So these were chairs that Siddhant had bought from Bungalow 8 at one of their sales, and they of course have lovely vintage furniture, so he got those. And the only thing that we added to them were these upholstered sort of cushions.
Yeah.
And the idea is that they're comfortable to sit on when you're on the dining table, but you can pick these up and throw them about.
Yeah.
So when there's lots of people, you can sit anywhere you want. And then the dining table became a exciting task in our office because, as you see, it's not a round table.
Yeah, it's oval somewhat.
Yeah. So we call it the note circle. It's about getting the perfect, imperfect circle.
Well, talking about the waiting area, now that's something we don't see in most Indian houses.
In some places, we do waiting areas which are very specifically just for that. In this, there's 2 uses. So he uses it also as a more intimate bar setting.
And otherwise, yes, when he has a few people who come in for meetings. It's a great place. It's right near the entrance. It overlooks this veranda. Again, the chairs were from my grandparents' house. It's a very modernist Delhi home, and Sid loved them. So we said, okay, we're going to bring them in. And that seemed like a great place. But what we wanted to do was, again, couple it with something which is quite contemporary. So the three sort of coffee tables there match the dining table. So again, the note imperfect circle. So,
well, Smita, I'm in awe of how you have transformed this space while retaining its old worldly charm.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of News on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching.